Hey, buddy, I'm Dan.
And I'm Mike, and this is 60 Seconds with Dan and Mike of the Corvallis Knights. Welcome to another episode of 60 Seconds with Dan and Mike. Good to see you, Dan.
Good to be here, Mike. So, Gitz, what do you have up your sleeve today?
Exciting one, Dan. Today we have a very special guest. He's a big league guy. He's a Cornell grad. He's an inventor. He's a former Portland Maverick, and he's a longtime partner of the Knights. He's the one and only Rob Nelson of Big League Chew.
All right. So cool. Hey, Nellie.
Thanks for the build-up. I hope I can live up to that. Appreciate it.
Thanks for joining us today, Nellie.
My pleasure.
So let me ask you a question. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
All right, let's put 60 seconds on the clock. Rob's favorite Big League Chew flavor?
You know, it depends on the time of the year. I usually start with grape and then segue into original. And now I'm really into slam and strawberry. So I'm going to go with three. I hope you don't mind. But if I had to pick only one, I'm going to go with ground ball grape, because as a pitcher, that's what I was always looking for.
Nellie's out pitch back in the day.
Back in the day, yeah, centuries ago.
What was that out pitch, Nellie?
Oh, what was it? Oh, breaking ball. Yeah, 52 miles an hour. But it seemed to work. Pretty cool.
So, Rob, favorite Portland restaurant?
Wow, favorite. Well, you know, Perry's on Fremont closed down, which is a shame because it was great family place. Andy Perry's mom and dad just did such a great job there. Andy was a little Mav way back, but I've got to go with. I'm looking at O'Leary's now, TC O'Leary's on Alberta, and Porque No on North Mississippi. I'm kind of a no frills guy when it comes to restaurants. And also, I must say, when I go a little up market, I go to Radar, also on North Mississippi. Maybe 30 seats in the restaurant, and Lily and Jonathan there are just awesome. It's a great restaurant.
I got to go check that place out, Nellie. Hey, last question that I have: better baseball, South Africa or England?
Hard to say, because South Africa, I was in my mid-20s, and England, I was in my early 40s. I was grateful to get the ball in both places. Weather-wise, I'm going to go with Cape Town. Theater-wise, I'm going to go with London. But in terms of the guys and the competition, I'm going to call it a tie, because it was fantastic. It was funny that when I hit the road going overseas, because nobody wanted me to pitch for them here in America, I found leagues and teams where I could compete. If I worked a little bit harder than everybody else, I got a chance to go 9 innings every Saturday or every Sunday, and I did it for a lot of years. But I'm grateful to those guys. Cape Town and London, amazing. And the third one, of course, is Sydney, which is like a bigger version of Cape Town. No complaints there either. Great mates over there.
Oh, yeah, I got to love Sydney.
Hey, Rob, in a few words, describe the following. Portland pickles.
Love the pickles. You know, when they first came out, I thought the name was just so wacky, but I think Alan has done a great job. And like I wrote to him recently, I said, you guys always deliver. I'm always playing on the pickle theme. I think it's family entertainment. It's, it's a different vibe than the Corvallis Knights, and both have their own personality, but both have the commonality of that. It's good family fun, and it's high quality baseball. But I love to be up close, and in both of those ballparks, you're right on top of the field, and the guys play their heart out. So I'm a big Pickles fan. I'm a big West Coast fan. Let's face it. The league is awesome.
The West Coast League.
The West Coast League. My brother Harry is being inducted into the Cape Cod Baseball League Hall of Fame in November. Harry played in the Cape back in the 60s. And I told him, my brothers have rarely come west of New Jersey. They're pretty much planted on Long Island. But I said, the West Coast League, if they haven't ever had an all-star game with the Cape Cod League, it would be awesome. And a best of 7 series between those two leagues, it would go to game 7. I don't know who would win, but the competition is awesome in the West Coast League. And Commissioner Nair has been spectacular. It's one of the best moves the league's ever made to bring in Rob Nair. He's a big league talent.
How about wrapping it up with Big League Chew?
What can I say about Big League Chew? We went over the 900 million pouch mark last year. We're hovering on $1 billion. You know, you're talking about a guy who had a lot of time in the bullpen because I wasn't pitching very much. I came up with one idea. The biggest thing for me is that it makes people smile. It's fun. You feel, I don't know, there's something, it brings joy to the ballpark, and it certainly has changed my life. So I'm grateful for Portland, because it wouldn't have happened had I not been a Portland Maverick. So Big League Chew and Portland are intertwined.
Great. Hey, while we got you, just a couple more questions. I know you've been a longtime supporter of the Knights and the West Coast League. What are some of the league's strengths, and what do you like about the West Coast League?
The thing I like about the West Coast League is similar to what I enjoyed about pitching overseas, is the games really matter. The guys really play their heart out, and it's a big deal to them to win for their town. When Corvallis wins the championship, it's authentic joy out on the field. And I love the way that the guys compete. I love the fact that when somebody doesn't do something right, it's just, let's get back into it. It feels, to me, it feels like professional baseball, you know, and I just love the fact that the fans have embraced the league and the towns. I just think it's great. I was quite surprised from the get-go how good the guys were. I mean, the talent is really there. Turning double plays, moving runners over, small ball or hitting the ball deep. They just play smart baseball. And, you know, it's the mantra. I still do my baseball camp on Long Island. Started it in 1986. We missed it last summer because of COVID, but, you know, we're over 3 decades of doing that. And the mantra that we teach there is that to, you know, work hard, play smart, and have some fun. And that's what the West Coast League is all about. Those 3 things really shine through. And I think that's why the fans have embraced the league as well. It's quite an experience.
Yeah, agreed. Thanks. I think Dan has a question for you as well.
Yeah. So,
Sure.
Hey, Nellie, you're probably one of the most interesting friends of mine. I love your stories and your take on things. Please share with us your thoughts on the current state of professional and amateur baseball, and maybe close with your favorite Portland Mavericks memory.
Wow. You know, the talent has never been better at the big league level. Something is missing in terms of pace of play. I went to the first Met game ever when I was 13 years old, opening day in the Polo Grounds. I was 13 years old, and I was so excited. I think the game took 2.5 hours. And it was just so exciting for me. I'd like to see them pick up the pace. I'd like to see them tweak with the pitcher's mound, even though I'm a pitcher. If they end up going back 62 feet so the games can be 5-4 and there are 6 strikeouts per team rather than double that, it's going to be better value in terms of family entertainment. But there's no denying the players have never been better. The talent is really there. In terms of the amateur thing, I was talking with friends of mine yesterday after playing tennis. The one thing that bothers me about youth sports is the analysis that goes on over and over and over in terms of spin rate and various other esoteric things. And I said, you know, when I was in high school, I played a little bit of football, not very good. I played basketball to keep my legs in shape for baseball. And then March 15th came along and it was like first day of high school baseball. I loved learning by competing in a game situation. And I think we're getting away from that. You've got a lot of guys not playing basketball because they're lifting weights and they're doing all kinds of personalized training on the off season. And you lose something. You not only do you lose the joy of competing, but in terms of being with your friends, in terms of being a part of a community. And I have no problem with guys going out till, you know, wee hours working on layups or bunting or whatever it is they work on. I admire the guys who do that. But I was lucky to have played when I went over to play ball in South Africa. You know, I was hitting infield, I was shagging flies, I was hitting flies. And afterwards, we'd go to the clubhouse and have a beer and just kind of communicate. You know, it was friendlier. It was a kinder, gentler kind of baseball. And I really missed that. I really like that. Having said that, again, high school ball probably never been better. But I just wish guys would have the chance to do more things than they do now.
Yeah. Oh, I wholeheartedly agree. You know, just the multi-sport athlete seems to be more rare, but you know, so many benefits from playing different sports, the competition, like you talked to, and just the athleticism and friends. At the end of the day, friends. So, Nellie, tell us your favorite Portland Mavericks memory. You
You
have
know, there are
lots,
so
you have
many
lots of
there,
so
but
many.
I'll tell you one that really always makes me smile,
Okay.
and it has nothing to do with the team, but Gordon Erfer was the sign painter for the Mavericks. All
Okay.
the outfield signs were done by Gordon, and so Bing gave him the gem assignment to paint a yellow school bus red with the team logo on it.
Okay.
You know, and Gordon was over the moon about it, and he does a spectacular job. And I show up under the stadium and he's working at it. And I look up and I go into Bing Russell's office. I said, Bing, have you seen Gordon's work out there? He says, the guy's a genius. He's a Picasso of the ballpark. He's amazing. I said, well, you want to come on out with me? So Bing and I go out and the bus is gleaming red. And at the very top above the windows is the logo and the slogan. Only the apostrophe's in the wrong place. It's supposed to be Portland Mavericks baseball club.
Yeah.
But Gordon has it as Portland's Maverick Baseball Club. and Bing looks at the bus and he looks at me and he says, you know, Rob, I like it better this way. And we kept it that way. If you look at the film Battered Bastards, they have a pennant above the stadium that says, welcome to Civic Stadium, home of Portland's Maverick Baseball Club. And it was a typo, basically. And I don't think Gordon even knew that he'd messed up. We just said, Gordon, this thing is spectacular. And that was Bing Russell in a nutshell. He could make anything into the greatest thing you'd ever experienced. And to me, that is so emblematic of what the team was. We led the league in fun, and he was the ringmaster. We were just the circus clowns.
So cool.
I've watched that movie, Battered Bastards. I've probably seen it 4 or 5 times. I watched it just again the other week. And Bing, like talk about Bing Russell, the innovation that he brought to the ballpark that you see more of nowadays in minor league baseball. But back then it was so ahead of its time. Was there ever a promotion or something that you guys just couldn't believe?
Well, you know, it's a funny thing about that, because people remember Bing for promotions, but he had Max Patkin come in, who was in the film Bull Durham, you know, yep. the clown prince of baseball kind of thing. But Bing was really true to the game. In terms of promotions, a lot of the stuff just kind of came out viscerally. When Joe yep. Garza went on top of the dugout with a broom, Bing didn't orchestrate that. Joe just said, wouldn't it be cool if we swept the team and I'll go on the dugout roof with a broom, and the fans started bringing their own brooms. I mean, that's the way things were with Bing. When we went to a game in Eugene and the PA system wasn't working and they couldn't play the national anthem, Steve Collette, the manager, said, all you guys out up on the field. So we went in front of the dugout and we sang the national anthem. And it was an absolute cat's choir, but we got a huge ovation from the fans there. And of course, the Cincinnati Reds affiliate that played in Eugene at the time, those guys really didn't quite know what to do. They stood respectfully, but they didn't join in. We were really the circus clowns there. So in terms of the promotions, it all happened kind of spur of the moment. And it took a life of its own. When Reggie showed up, Reggie Thomas, and it was just the PA guy, just serendipity said, here comes Reggie. And that became his catchphrase. And it wasn't scripted or anything. The first thing popped into his head was, here comes Reggie. He was like the man of the hour. And everything was like that. The thing I loved about the Mavericks that I think really resonated with the fans is that they knew we were trying really hard, and some of the guys could really play, but a lot of us couldn't play a lick. I mean, I did an interview, I remember, down in LA, and a woman said, you know, this big league chew thing is really great, but I looked up your stats and your earn run average was north of 6. And why did they keep inviting you back for 3 seasons? I mean, it was hilarious. I said, Bing Russell thought I could help the team. Not 60 feet, 6 inches from home plate, but I ran the tryouts. I had the Little Maverick Baseball School. You know, I was one of the few adults in that clubhouse, and Bing knew he needed that kind of balance. So in terms of Bing, people just understood that he was the real deal. He was authentically, what was the word? Ebullient. He was so enthused to have a team. I don't think any owner had more fun with a ball club than Big Russell. Win or lose, he loved to win, but even when we didn't, he was gracious, and I love that guy.
That's awesome. That's so cool. And now I think of Rob Nelson, the adult, out of this interview. That's great stuff, Rob. But as usual, so entertaining and great to have time with you, Rob. And we appreciate you and Big League Chew. And I guess I'd turn it over to Gitz. Any parting words, Gitsy?
We really appreciate you joining us, Rob, and we appreciate your support of the Knights in the West Coast League, and my kids appreciate Big League Chew about
So
as
do
much
my
as
kids.
anybody. Yeah.
All the kids in the Corvallis area, Nellie, they love it. So thanks for.
I have to finish with one thing.
Yes.
Driving into
Yes.
a Knights game a couple of summers ago, there was a billboard that you guys were promoting, and it said Corvallis Knights Big League Fun. And I said, boy, am I with the right team. It was just perfect. You guys really get it, and I appreciate all you do for the game.
Yeah, no,
Thanks,
thank
Rob.
you, Nellie. Appreciate
All right,
it.
see you guys.
Yep,
Bye
see
now.
ya.